It was an ordinary day in this bank. Coffee, customers, calls. But no one knew that an ancient evil had entered here with a new visitor, and no one would be able to leave here the same. A fire starts in a small warehouse and fire trucks rush there. There is a reputable bank next to this warehouse. An office worker makes himself a cup of hot tea and looks at his watch. Some terrible memories appear in his memory. Everything seems to be calm and quiet. A man with a glass of tea watches the work of other employees. Each of them is busy with his own business. A new client appears at the bank. She is a woman with short blonde hair. There's another customer in the lobby. She's a bright blonde. This girl came here to get a job. Judging by her resume, she worked in big companies, but then took a break and went traveling. Besides them, there are several other clients in the bank. Among them is Detective Tom Iger. He opens a small deposit and flirts with the cashier, and then tells the guard that he will go and look at the fire. A blonde-haired woman complains that she has received a message that she has run out of money in her account. She insists that this is impossible and begins to quarrel with the cashier. Tom Iger walks past the fireman and gets into his car. His partner is already waiting for him there. The blonde is hired. Her employer admits that almost none of the employees have been working here for more than a few months, because for some reason they get very scared. The woman with the short haircut continues to brawl and demands to call the manager. A senior cashier named Susan is trying to calm her down. A little chaos begins in the bank. Several firefighters come inside. A scandalous visitor is trying to provoke a fight. At the same moment, the blonde pulls a weapon out of her bag and threatens one of the bank employees. The guard calls for help on his walkie-talkie and tries to arrest the hooligan, but one of the firefighters knocks him out and then turns off the surveillance cameras. When the guard regains consciousness, he is forced to inform the police that it was a false call. Despite this, Tom Iger wants to go to the bank and personally make sure that everything is in order. On the street, he receives an anonymous call about a crime at the bank. Meanwhile, a carefully planned robbery is indeed taking place in this bank. The criminals threaten everyone with weapons and demand that the cashiers take them to the bank vault. At the same time, they manage to swear at each other and accuse each other of violating the original plan. By the way, let's get to know these robbers. So, these are two sisters, Leah and Vi, as well as their brother Michael. He pretends to be one of the firefighters. The other two firefighters are also their accomplices. Their names are Kramer and Cyrus. They were the ones who started a fire in a nearby warehouse to distract the police. Susan opens the vault. One of the criminals pushes her assistant inside Susan and forces the women to enter the correct code to open the safe with the money. Meanwhile, Leah and Vi take other bank employees hostage. A police siren sounds, and one of the hostages tries to escape. The robbers accidentally wound him and try to save him, but the wound is too deep. There are only $70,000 in the bank vault. Leah wants to leave, but Vi and Cyrus demand to search the cash registers and find more money. A fight almost starts between the sisters. The rest of the criminals also grab their weapons. It looks like they need the money for some important purpose. One of the hostages says his name is Ed Mass and he is the deputy manager. This man promises to tell where they keep $6 million if the criminals don't harm anyone. He advises the bandits to turn off the alarm immediately, otherwise the police will arrive here soon. Ed admits that all the money is in the basement vault. It used to be part of the old bank. The man gives the criminals the key to the front door to this vault. Vi and Kramer go to investigate, and Leah takes off her wig. Michael has to make a hole in the pipeline so that they can escape through it later. The hostages are trying to establish contact with the robbers and ask to be released. Michael starts to get nervous. Leah demands her brother to calm down and locks one of the hostages away from him. Vi and Kramer find the vault. The problem is that it has a combination lock, and it will take Kramer about 20 minutes to crack it. There are power outages in the bank. Ed starts having some creepy visions again. Susan tells Michael that she really needs to go to the bathroom. The woman asks to remove the bag from her head. She admits that she won't be able to pee until he comes out of the bathroom. Susan also says that she thinks Michael is a good person. The woman is sure that he was forced to commit this robbery. But that's not quite true. Turns out that Michael had very large debts, and so he and his sisters decided to rob a bank. The man promises that none of the hostages will be hurt. Vi begins to have some kind of hallucinations. Michael goes to cut the pipeline. Vi says there's someone in the vault, but her brother doesn't believe her. Vi and Leah monitor Kramer's work with a surveillance camera. The man successfully breaks down the door to the vault, and Michael does his part at the same time. Kramer looks into the vault and notices a man with a bag over his head. There's someone in the hallway too. The criminal tells Leah and Vi about this. The girls see only Kramer on the monitor and no one else. There are more and more figures with bags on their heads. Kramer panics, the connection is interrupted. The strangers attack Kramer and drag him into the vault. His desperate screams can be heard from there. Leah decides that there are other people in the bank and asks Cyrus to count the number of hostages they are holding inside the deposit vault in this bank. The light starts flashing again and the vault door closes. Cyrus and all the hostages remain trapped inside. Cyrus is attacked by the same hostage who attacked Kramer earlier. A man in a white mask appears and tries to stuff his gun into Cyrus' mouth. When the vault door opens again, Leah goes inside, but Cyrus is nowhere to be seen. Michael finds Kramer in the underground vault. It seems to him that Kramer wants to leave this world voluntarily. The fact is that Michael sees no one but his friend and does not know that he is being tormented by some otherworldly forces. Leah can't get in touch with Michael. She demands Ed to tell her what's inside. The man replies that he doesn't know anything. The phone rings in the bank. This is Detective Tom Iger. Leah looks out the window. Turns out that the bank is completely surrounded by police. Leah decides that the chief cashier could have called the police. She's interrogating Susan. The woman tells the criminal that they had already tried to rob this bank in 1982. The criminal kept bank employees without food and water for many days, and then got rid of several hostages. More precisely, he forced the hostages to use weapons against each other, and then locked the last surviving person in an underground vault and started a fire. The perpetrator in the white mask was never found. He seemed to have disappeared. No one even saw his face. And now there is a real evil living in the old vault. Leah doesn't believe this stupid story and threatens Susan. Michael appears and scolds his sister. They had agreed not to harm anyone. Michael starts crying. He tells his sister that Kramer voluntarily passed away. The man is sure that something very bad is happening in this place. V appears with a huge bag of money. Surprisingly, all the banknotes were issued in 1982. Leah says it's not normal. A fight almost starts between the sisters again. The police are using sniper fire. Ed Mass is worried that people will get hurt again. Leah interrogates the guard to figure out what the police will do now. The guard replies that they need to release the hostages. The phone rings in the bank again. Leah picks up the phone and hears the same message about the robbery that Detective Iger had previously heard. Michael cuts through the water pipe so that he and his sisters can escape from here. There he notices a woman begging for help. She lies on the floor and says her name is Samantha and her leg is broken. At the same moment, she changes and becomes very scary. V searches for Michael, but finds Cyrus. He doesn't seem to have a head. Leah talks to Detective Iger again and agrees to release one of the hostages. This is the man who conducted the interview for her. Leah returns to the bank and listens to the message about the robbery again. She seems to recognize that voice. The criminals want to escape from the bank through a water pipe. Michael pours gasoline over everything to start a fire and distract the police. The fire alarm goes off. Leah frees Ed and then the other hostages. The bank fills with smoke. The guard asks Leah not to go down to the underground storage, but she does not listen to him. Soon the police break into the bank. Surprisingly, no one reacts to Ed. Leah tries to escape through the water pipe. Near the vault, she is attacked by a man in a white mask and hostages from 1982. Michael wants to save his sister and sets everything on fire. Thanks to this act, Leah manages to escape, but Michael can no longer do it. Detective Iger is reviewing the CCTV footage and interrogating the hostages. He wants to understand why none of them knows anything about their employee named Ed Mass, and why he is not in any of the surveillance footage. Susan says she has known all the bank's employees for 10 years and has never seen this man before. The woman looks at the wall with the detective's printouts and suddenly notices a picture of Ed there. Iger tells her that this picture shows a man who died during a bank robbery in 1982. It was the assistant manager. He called the police to report the robbery, but the perpetrator punished him for it. By the way, it was the same call that Leah and Iger had heard the day before. Leah and Vi meet in a small rural village. The police believe that none of the robbers came out after the fire, so the sisters can start a new life with a big bag of money. Their Jeep won't start for some reason. Eventually, the girls start the engine, but soon they are attacked by a man in a white mask.